Hello, everyone, and welcome to another powerful conversation with yet another powerful woman. I'm delighted to introduce you today to Jakki. We met at a local networking lunch, so I'm very excited to have somebody I've actually met in real life joining me today, which is quite a treat. So thank you for joining me, Jakki. As usual, I will let you introduce yourself because your words will do it better justice than I would. So over to you on who you are and what you do.
Okay, so hello everybody. My name is Jakki Hesse and I work predominantly with women. So I run women's circles, drum circles, gatherings in the woods. We were just having a conversation about my painting here behind me, and I help connect women back to themselves. So my logo says connecting you to you. And that is ultimately what I'm trying to do within the various, I have lots of modalities that I use. I am a sound therapist, I am a massage therapist. So yeah, I kind of take all of my years of training, there's been many of those, and kind of bring it into a bespoke session for people if it's on a one-to-one basis. Otherwise, if it's in a group basis, then we kind of go with the flow of the group. So I think is that kind of a good introduction of who I am.
Definitely, because my mind's would go, oh, I could ask this, I could ask this. Where do I start with my questions? I suppose the your little tagline was introducing you to you, or
connecting you
to you. So how did that come about as being like the focus of your business and your, I guess that's your why ultimately?
Yeah, I think it's because for me, I never really felt connected to myself. So it's through my work. My main teacher is nature. It is the trees, it's the plants. Whenever I go out into nature, I feel better and it helps me connect to myself.
Yeah.
So that has been a very long journey, and one that I suppose has got deeper as time goes on. So when I was trying to come up with, who I am and what I do, it's like that for me is what I aim to do for women, is to help them connect themselves back to themselves. Hence connecting you to you.
Yeah. And so has that connection with nature been like always been there as long as you can remember?
It has always been there. I have memories as a child when I was being bullied of going into the woods and sitting with the trees and talking with the trees and making potions and making all different things with the trees and crying to them and talking to them. And it's a place that I've always felt held. I have photos of me in trees, by trees. Everything to do with trees. Trees for me are my real connection. That's where my deep connection to myself came, when I actually stopped and started listening to Mother Nature in the form of trees.
Yeah. And I mean, I listened to a podcast recently, I think it was this year, about how science is just catching up with the fact that trees talk to each other as well. Like there's a massive, and all the nature that's around them.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about the World Wide Web. There is a World Wood Web. The trees talk to each other. They talk to each other through their roots. They talk to each other through the micellar network. They are constantly talking to each other. And we can hear that if we stop and listen. It's about centering ourselves and letting go of technology, getting rid of the phone, not, being on devices, and just sitting and really connecting in. So, it's been something that I've been doing my whole life, but recently, so the last 5 years, probably more actually, 2016, I think, was when I started working specifically with trees and listening to trees.
Yeah. So if that's something that came naturally to you, how long would it take for somebody like Joe Blogs or Joanne Blogs? How long would it take her to feel, hear, see, connect in the way you do?
Everybody's connection is different. So it's like my connection won't be your connection. So it really, what it is it's about becoming willing, have an open mind, you know, and just being able to say, okay, I'm just going to stop and I'm going to see what happens. And
Yeah.
it could be that you have thoughts that are your thoughts, but they're not your thoughts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's your voice in your head, but it's not coming from you. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I would sort of read that as being it's a deeply unconscious voice that has that you've connected with.
Really, that's a very good way of putting it. So it is everybody can do this. It's just about being able to sit. It's a form of meditation.
Yeah.
So you know, getting out into nature and taking your shoes off, you know, that is the start for me. If I have somebody who wants to come and experience a nature immersion, I will probably take them to the woods and probably suggest that they take their shoes off and just feel, because there's scientific evidence that the ions that the earth holds are actually really beneficial for us humans. And you know, we walk around in shoes all day, don't we? We don't have a place where we take our shoes off. So it's really interesting when you do it, especially if you are a bit skeptical. Just everyone feels better when they get outside, don't they?
I do, definitely. And so what sort of women, what sort of issues or challenges or pain points do they normally come to you with?
It can be various things. So it can be women who have burnout. It can be women who have grief in their lives from anything, really. You know, children growing up and leaving home, divorce, many different things. And I work with all sorts of different people. So I work with people who've been on this path for a while, so you know, live a spiritual life. But I also, and I love this aspect of my work, which is having women who know they need something, don't know what it is, and are just like, I don't know what else to do. And they come to me and they go, oh, I don't know what just happened there, but something did. And then they like to explore it a little bit more. So it's about just opening that door of curiosity and allowing people to go on their own journeys. And if I can just offer a hand to say, you know, come with me, you might enjoy it, you might not like what I do, you might find something completely different. But it's about almost dropping a pebble and then allow the ripples to go wherever they need to go, whatever that is.
Yeah. And that can take require quite a lot of trust in oneself, really, can't it? To let go of the day-to-day grind and the shoulds and the coulds and the, you know, what ifs and everything, to really be free and let go.
And it's hard. You know, we've been I was going to say trained, but that's not the right word that I'm looking for. We've been conditioned, that's probably a better word, into believing that we have to behave in a certain way and we have to do certain things and we should be doing this and we should be doing that. And one of the things that I actually say quite regularly to my clients is should is shit. Shoulds are not, they are not helpful and you don't need them. It's like, let go of shoulds and allow the coulds. Well, I could do that, you know, or I could do that, not the should. So it's about giving yourself permission to do differently, I think. Yeah.
And so in terms of you yourself starting on this journey, what has been the biggest challenge for you in sort of starting this business and getting it up and running?
The big I am my biggest problem.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I have that imposter syndrome. You know, who's going to want to come to me? You know, my ego can get really loud sometimes and say, you're not good enough. You know, why would people want to come and see you? Who do you think you are? And I've had to really quieten that voice and go, oh, hello, who are you? Thank you for popping in right now. We'll just leave you to the side over there. Thank you very much. You're not well right now. I'm being, you know, spiritual Jack that's going to go and sit with the trees, and that's okay. And, you know, it's those voices. It's my voice that comes in and says, well, you're just sitting by a tree. People are going to think you're weird. They are. What do you think why are you just sitting by a tree thinking you're all spiritual, do you? So I am the biggest problem, because actually when women come and allow and give themselves permission to let go and to just be held, magic happens, and I can't describe it. It's like all I'm doing is holding the container and holding space, and they are doing their own healing. You know, it's like I'm not doing anything. I'm just providing a place and space for people to be able to come, become curious, and explore their own path of healing or recovery or whatever. I mean, I'm talking to you a lot about my nature-based work, but, you know, I have a whole other side, which is remedial. So I work with women who have scars. You know, I work with TMJ, so that's people with jaw issues. So it's like I had this, you know, a woman might come because she's had a C-section and she just wants some work done on her C-section scar. And then she realizes that she hasn't stopped in 5 years and she doesn't actually know who she is. So go out, take a walk, or I'll do some sound therapy, you know. And they come with one thing that's practical, and then just kind of open the door, and then they start to explore other areas. And not everybody does.
No, sure.
Well, not everybody does, but a lot of people do.
And do you have, with all the different modalities that you can lean into if you choose to, are you able to get a sense when you meet a new client on which one might resonate with them more than others, or is it trial and error?
Well, no, I do a very detailed consultation with people. And, you know, when people walk into my space, you can tell straight away I'm not your average massage therapist. You know, I'm not your average clinical massage therapist. Because my room is full of drums and crystal bowls and gongs, and there's artwork on the walls. So I will gauge what they need, and every session is bespoke. So it's like somebody might be coming in one thing and I'll think actually they don't need that, and then I might suggest something else and they'll go, oh, I hadn't thought of that, and then it will be a different treatment. So it's very much dependent on how open the person is to exploring different areas, and also what I feel that they need. So I use my intuition a lot. So I I have got so many different trainings that I've done over the years. So even just watching us walking in, I can tell from how they're walking as to what work might need doing within their body.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's I'm not your average woman.
Who is average and who wants to be average anyway?
But yeah, I am different from a lot of other people, and that's what makes me who I am. You know,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like
absolutely.
this is just, you know, and this is just one part of my business. You know, I'm also in collaboration with a woman, and we run women's retreats for women with camper vans.
Yeah.
So that is a really exciting area that I'm going off into next year. We've got, I think, 8 different locations around the country. And, you know, I bring a little bit of me to those. And my friend Sarah, she's very practical. She does yoga. She says to me, Jack, I'm not sure people are going to want that. So it's like, you know, I have to take a step back. And it's a really exciting thing that we're offering, you know, getting out into nature in a camper van with women. You know, we did one a couple of weekends ago and it was just wonderful, really wonderful. So
I can definitely see the appeal of that, of just like almost being, well, I'm sure you decide on your locations in advance, but from the user experience point of view, just sort of driving your camper van to the middle of nowhere, if you like, and just being able to be immersed by nature and away from technology, but with like-minded women that want the same sort of thing. Awesome.
And that, you know, the camper van retreats for women it's nice for a woman to know that she's going somewhere where there's going to be other women. She can enjoy her van, but she can also have a massage, do some yoga, go for a walk, have a sound bath, do some crafting. You know, she's not just in the field with a bunch of other people on her. So it's a great concept, and I'm really excited to be a part of this and to see how it's going to grow and where it's going to go. It's a really exciting thing.
So what if you don't have a camper van and you want to go on one of these retreats?
Well, this is what we are in process of, actually getting in contact with Quirky Campers and having a place where you can actually have a camper. But this is all new and it's all kind of,
can see where you're going. Love it.
So you know, it's, you know, watch this space. Camper van retreats is going places. Definitely.
No, I think that sounds utterly awesome. I've got beautiful images of old VW camper vans and little campfires and
we did drum circle, we did paddleboarding, sup yoga. You know, it's really good fun. Really good fun.
Yeah. Awesome. And what was another question I had that came to me was well, I was going to say, where do you see the business going, or where do you see it sort of being in 5 years' time? But I kind of pick up that, I mean, you're kind of surrendered to the flow of what comes and go with that.
Pretty much. It's like, I very much live my life around the ebb and flow of the seasons. You know, I like right now we're going into autumn, and I don't know about anybody else, but I really feel my energy is starting to go inwards. It's like I haven't got as much energy as I had in the summer, and I'm really looking forward to knitting and sitting watching Strictly, because that is my guilty pleasure. You know, and it's like I do really go and ebb and flow with the seasons, and being able to do that, because as a woman, I am a cyclical being, and being able to work my business, my own energy, makes it so much easier than trying to, you know, do things when I don't have the energy to do it. So
So I suppose
business.
So that's interesting, because I've been thinking a lot and looking into a lot of this whole cycles, different cycles that we have, whether it be lunar, menstrual, seasonal, life. There's just so many different cycles that are out there. But if you take like the seasonal cycles, in terms of your business, do you find that the most ideas come in winter, when you have been retreating and looking inwards, and then you are literally planting the seeds in the spring and then reaping the rewards in the autumn? Is that literally how you find it working?
Yes, pretty much. I mean, like, we've just had autumn equinox.
Yeah.
So that is the point of the year. So we have 2 equinoxes, the spring and the autumn. And they are both great times to go, right, what have I done and where am I going?
Yeah.
So I've literally, this last few days, been going, right, what have I done this last year from spring equinox to now? What have I got planned from now to spring? And I've got loads of different things coming, but I've also got things that I will be putting into Maldron and, leaving it to compost over winter, because I've got ideas, but they're not ready yet. So it's like, I'm going to plant those over winter, leave them to do what they need to do, and then come spring, it might be like, that's ready. I mean, I've got one that's been in and out of coming to life, so to speak, for it must be 3 years now.
Wow.
And it's still not ready, and I know it's not ready, so it goes back into my winter of where could it go, what could it be, how could it become something, and then maybe next year it will come to life, or maybe it won't. That's how I work business. So I'm very blessed that I am able to be very fluid with my business. So I work with the elements. I work with the earth, the air, the fire, the water, and the spirit. And right now, the leaves on the trees are showing us that it's time to let go.
I think it's so beautiful when you actually start to look at it in that way, and whether you think it's nonsense or not, but that there's just so much for everybody to have from using that as benchmarkers through the year. It just makes sense, doesn't it?
And that's the thing that I like to try and bring to women, is to look at it differently. So not just look at it as every month I bleed. Look at it as every month there's a release. What is your cycle? If you still bleed, track your bleed. Where are you bleeding with the moon, or with the full moon, or the dark moon? And then you can track your energy. Then you can bring in things like seed cycling, so to help with things like that. And and there's so much, and this is all the stuff that I kind of drop little tidbits in my clients.
No, I think it's beautiful.
Come in and say, I'm day 21, and I'll be like, oh my God, you didn't even know when you started coming to see me. It's a really important thing to know your own cycle.
Totally. I completely agree. I suppose it's quite interesting for all women that are on like the pill or something, though, because what would they do?
Well, there's ways and means with it, because I mean, that is a very forced situation. So you have, normally it's like you are on the pill for 21 days and then you come off it and you have a 7-day bleed, although it's not a bleed. You could then start actually tracking with the moon rather than with like
the pills.
And also offering solutions to women that is not taking that substance. Actually, you get to know your own cycle. You can use that to your advantage. So I'm about empowering women to find out their own truth, rather than being told what they should do and then deciding what what they want to do for themselves, you know, and that comes from me as a woman with endometriosis, meiosis, and fibroids for years and years and years, being told that I had to be on the pill, I had to take this, I had to do that, and then going, hold on a minute, why do I have to do that? So then actually changing it and do it differently. Sorry, that's my dog just having a little bark outside. So
I think it's there's so much fear, isn't there, that's put into us by, you know, if you don't do it this way, then this will happen. It's like, well, what are the actual chances of it? Is there as much chance of that as if I don't do anything? And I just think sometimes we just default to what we're told we should do by a power of authority, because that's what we believe is right, rather than trusting our own intuition on it.
Exactly. You know, and this can go into so many different areas. This goes into birth. It goes into everything. You know, I've also a trained doula, but I actually choose not to actually do any of that work because I don't feel that I can go into the medical system. It's just something I choose not to do days. But there's people, women can do so much if they just have an understanding and are fully informed of their choices.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I did hypnobirthing when I had my eldest, and then ended up not being able to follow that birth plan because of other things. But but it still benefited me having the hypnobirthing as a tool to get me through the stress of what they were doing.
Exactly. And then that's a whole different story. You know, I could do massively about the birth area, and it's like that's a whole different story. But you know, for me, I very much want to make sure that women stand in their power and are empowered to do the things that they want to do, not the things that they should. Because should is shit.
Should is shit. Completely agree. So tell us how people can get in touch with you and follow you and follow all your great ideas, so they can come and join you in nature, in camper vans, etc.
Cool. So I am on socials. I'm on Facebook as Jakki Hesse Therapies. I'm on Instagram as, now I have to get this right, I think it's Jakki _Hesse _. And my website is www.jakki, JAKKI, Hesse.com.
Fab. And I will put those in the notes anyway. It's been so cool talking to you. I've really enjoyed it. I love having conversations that are much more intuition driven than anything else. So I really appreciate you joining me today to do that. So thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jakki.